Good Erev Shabbos, Parshas Bereishis, everybody. It is wonderful to be reconnecting with everyone, and we're actually going to start a new initiative called Erev Shabbos Connection, whether it be a Zoom or a video, to go out, to connect to people, because wherever we are, we're all connected to our shul, and we're going to try to maintain that, to be able to create that connection. Short Dvar Torah, and then also some perspectives of looking back, looking forward together. You know, I was at a Simcha yesterday, and I saw Rabbi Aryeh Cohen there, and he told me a very beautiful idea. I'd like to just share it very briefly. And that is that we're at the meridian between the end of the Torah and the beginning of the Torah. We just finished V'zos HaBracha last week on Simchas Torah, and we're about to read Bereishis tomorrow. And it's fascinating, it's a well-known fact that if you take the last letter of the Torah and the first letter of the Torah, the first word, of course, is Bereishis, the last word is Yisrael, the last letter is a Lamed, the first letter is a Beis. You put the two letters together and you get the notion Leiv, heart. The Torah is joined from beginning to end with Leiv, with heart, with emotion, with passion, with connection. What I didn't realize, and what we will never forget the next time we ever see these two words, is that if you actually reverse into the word Yisrael, the last word in the Torah, or you fast forward in the word Bereishis, which is the first word of the Torah, in fact, the three letters before the Lamed of Yisrael are the letters Resh, Aleph, Shin. Not in that order. Rosh. The immediate three letters after the Beis of Bereishis, in order, are Resh, Aleph, Shin. Rosh. Is that fascinating? The Sefer Torah is bridged, essentially, by a Leiv on the edges and a Rosh there afterwards. Could there be nothing more meaningful than that? Think about that. In a certain sense, the continuity, the cycle of a Torah lifestyle is bridged by the heart and is underpinned by the mind. And that's our cycle. We're at that point over here. We're moving from the old cycle to the new cycle, the old year to the new year. We're getting back into business now. It's the first week of, we'll call it regular life. And in a certain sense, we need to take the passion we've experienced and translate it into the moach, into the rosh, into the intellectual pursuits of ascending and growing together. Let's take a look at some of the perspectives from the Leiv and the Rosh. This last Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, this entire season has been one with an incredible amount of inspiration, with a lot of Leiv. Starting with the women's series that was in the backyards, which we thank Natasha Strulowitz and all the speakers and people involved, all the hosts who hosted packed shiurim in people's backyards, inspiration to be able to reconnect again. When we had the opportunity of learning about the tefillah with Rabbi Tattlebaum, myself, Rabbi Ofinat, and we focused on the different parts of tefillah in those Zooms before Rosh Hashanah. When we had the opportunity before Slichos to spend some time with Eli Beer, the Hatzalah hero in Israel, and hear his personal story, to hear his messages. As we sat 900 people in 8 parallel locations, and we had people stepping up in every level of community, whether it be the Balei Tefillah, the Balei Tekiah, the ritual committee, the seating committee, the logistics committee, on every level. It was an inspiration to see what happened and how it worked. How we had to perhaps shift a little bit of the way that davening worked, and how we will all be able to do this together. We were able to come together to have the most memorable davening under complicated circumstances. One of the proud moments that I think about as well was also 2020 hindsight, our Selah 2.0, which included many of the perspectives of community members in our own communities. They shared their perspectives through this last year as they look back and look forward. It was a very meaningful Selah. If you've not had a chance to read it, very worthwhile to take a look at that. And also our Simchas Beis HaShoeva, looking at, perhaps it wasn't in person and it wasn't with all the music and food this year, but it was with perspectives. As we moved out of our diras kever, our buildings, and we looked at NCSY, TORAH, YILC, as all of these institutions moved out, and the individuals, the leaders who are able to take us into our diras sarai through this period. One of the memorable moments at the Simchas Torah, looking back, which is so beautiful and so meaningful to me, was on the afternoon of Shmini Atzeres. We did a very special program where we laned community members stepped up to lane and to introduce the 14 parashios we missed from Kisisa to Bamidbar. 14 weeks of isolation, and we did not get to shul to lane. We laned them together that afternoon. And it was fascinating. At a certain point in the afternoon, I looked around and I listened, and in the one tent, in our large tent, there was a whole chevra who was laning, and we were laning and going over the missed parshios. And then to the side was the youth program. Leanne Taylor was running a double session of our Tiny Tot Sarcophos with Rabbi Taylor as the super rabbi. It was incredible to hear the kids singing, to hear all the beautiful stories being told. And then on the other side, we had Dr. Goldman giving the Daf Yomi and the Sukkos. We had the learning of Torah, the laning of Torah, and the next generation of Torah all coming together in the most beautiful Simchas Torah under very trying conditions to be able to celebrate together. It was a very, very beautiful moment. There was a lot of lave in this last moment, and it was because of a lot of planning, a lot of commitment, a lot of inconvenience, or many of us who sacrificed to make sure that this would be the way it should be. But now we move into the next step. And the next step is the Rosh. And that is that we're now about to start. We need to take that lave. We need to take that inspiration and we need to now convert it into real. We need to commit to something. We have an incredible week ahead. We have incredible shiurim and programs which are being offered. I would like to think as I go through them and just list the incredible programs that we have coming up. Think of at least 2 that you can commit to. Somehow, some way. These are incredible opportunities. Let's start with Sunday morning. On a Sunday morning, 8 a.m., we're going to still be doing Zoom. I'm going to be going through the topics, weekly contemporary topics of Talmud Torah. Please join me as we go through very important issues and topics. This year we'll be discussing universal morality, looking at Parshas Noach as we begin the week of Noach. That's going to be on Zoom at 8 a.m. We move on to Mondays. I have the opportunity of sharing a platform with Rabbi Rael Blumenthal, a good friend and colleague of mine who's the Rabbi of BRS West down in Florida. We go through a chavrusa together and people are welcome to listen in as we learn out loud together the writings of Rav Kook Olas Re'iyah on his Pirush on the Siddur. Half an hour, it's Facebook Live and Zoom. Please join us. Incredible opportunity of changing our tefillah. We adopted this at the moment, in the darkest point of Corona, to be able to change our emunah and our tefillah through the works of Rav Kook. We move to Monday night, starting again Nachnuk. We're going to be doing our Nach Shir for men and women, which is focusing on Melachim Aleph, starting on Perek Yud Beis. We're doing it in sections, which means to say our next section is called the Split of the Kingdom. That difficult stage when Bnei Yisrael, the north and the south, split. That's what we're dealing with. Perek Yud Beis, Rechavam, Yeravam, complications. Please join me. This is going to be on Zoom on Monday evenings. As we move to Tuesday evenings, Rabbi Talabam's Meseches Chagiga shir is now meeting in person in the Net Adler Beis Medrash, with masks and distancing. Please join us. That is a Gemara Shir Be'ion, which will be on Tuesday nights, starting at 8 p.m. Also on Tuesday nights is Smichas CHAVER. We're beginning actually a new semester, a new Zman. We've just finished now with our Chevra. We've finished 2 Zman. We learned Hilchos Bishul. And now we've just finished learning Hilchos Kavod Shabbos. We're just finishing this week. So in 1 week's time, after our Chaver have taken the Bechina, which is an incredible testament to the commitment and growth of our Chaver, we're going to be starting a new Zman. Now's the time to get involved in Hilchos Muktzah. This is a time to really master Torah and to join 1,400 people around the world in 70 Chaburas, parallel around the world, who are doing this program with us. This is our Shul's Smichas Chaver on Tuesday nights at 8:30. We move on to Wednesdays. Nachnuk is going to reappear as the women's shir at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. We have an incredible chevra, different dynamic as we move through the same material, but at the same time at a different pace with a different chevra. That's at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. As we move to Wednesday evening, we have the incredible offering of Dr. Abramson, who's now offered to give us the Jewish History Lab. This is unique to YILC. And as Dr. Abramson has now been approached by Koren publishers to publish a 3-volume Jewish history, a compendium of Jewish history, he is using the shul as an opportunity to go through that material before it gets published. This is an incredible opportunity. One is required to sign up to get the link to be able to join the Zoom. We thank Dr. Abramson for always giving us the opportunity to grow, to aspire, and to learn. We move on to this is going to be Thursdays. It's no longer on Thursday mornings, but Thursday afternoons. Esther Wien is offering her incredible share, which is attracting has always attracted tens, if not hundreds of people, women around the community. It's now going to be on Zoom at this point in time. Please join. The information is available. On Thursday nights, we're going to be doing the MAHARAL on the PARSHA. Talabam continues to offer his beautiful SHIUR on the elucidations of the MAHARAL, the Gur Aryeh and beyond, on the PARSHA on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. This will be offered in the Net Adler-based Medrash, Mosques and Distancing, which is going to be on Thursday nights. Also, starting in the future, Be'ezras Hashem, we're going to starting the Erev Shabbos connection, where we have opportunity of either Zooms or videos going out before Shabbos. If you're thinking about the daily, there's an incredible amount of daily. Starting the morning at 5 a.m. with Dr. Howard Bereishis, we have the Daf Yomi meeting in person, Mosques and Distancing inside. We have the 6 a.m. Daf Yomi with Dr. Howard, Dr. Yaakov Shalev and Dr. Alan Goldman, which is being offered via Zoom, and the 8:30 p.m. one, which is going to be offered with Baruch Gross, who continues to teach and has a beautiful chabura, which is right now on Zoom, potentially turning into inside meetings as well. If you have contemplated doing the daf, now's the time to pick it up. We have incredible Magidei Shirim, we have incredible chavers in each of these daf yomis, be'ezras Hashem. We also have the Amud Yomi Shir, which is now 7:15 a.m. to 7:45, only half an hour to Rabbi Gershon Kramer, an incredibly dedicated Chabura, still on Zoom right now, going through Be'ezras Hashem. Perhaps if the daf was too fast, the Amud is a time to be able to appreciate and contemplate it in a more holistic perspective. If you're thinking going digital, also Nach Yomi is going to be offered. I'm moving now through 10-minute podcasts in Sefer Daniel, one of the most undiscovered Sforim around. It is unbelievable. We're up to Daniel Perek. This is on WhatsApp and on the App Store as well. We also have an incredible opportunity where Dr. Sam Singer has been working together with the CHAVER in our shul to present daily Divrei Torah from our CHAVER to our CHAVER. It's a beautiful WhatsApp group. You're welcome to join, you're welcome to listen, and to present 5 days a week. We have people developing Divrei Torah of all kinds of perspectives. Please join this group as well. And of course, a very new initiative, which is new in terms of publicity, but not new in terms of what's been going on. We've had a MISHNA YOMI Chabura, which has been meeting after the 5:15 minyan every single morning during the weekday, and now that we've gone digital, this has now gone to WhatsApp, and Dr. Huberfeld is producing a recording every single day of the Mishnayos. We're now in Mishnayos Kalim. There's an opportunity of connecting and being able to learn together. So much which is going on, and there's more to come. There's going to be prime time coming back. There's going to be Avos Abanim, the Mishnayos Chabura. There's going to be socials. This is the time to get involved. If you have an idea, you want to make the shul a better place, you'd like to get involved, there's so many opportunities which are coming down the road Be'ezras Hashem with us. Now's the time to reconnect. Now is the time to learn and ascend. As we move away from this time of lave, we move away from this time where we experienced so much inspiration. Now we're going to turn that to the Rosh, and we're going to take that and concretize that in this year. Looking forward to seeing all of you at the relevant times, the times when you can connect with the community, connect with each other, and connect with Hashem. Have a wonderful and meaningful Shabbos.